On the news hour tonight, troops rescue 52 kidnapped victims in Sokoto. Cost of living crisis affects Christmas festivities. Emefiele meets bail conditions, regains freedom. And on the international scene, gunmen kill at least 20 people in western Burundi. Hello there and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. We begin with the news tonight in continuation with onslaught against terrorists through series of clearance operations. The combined troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadarin Daji OPHD have rescued 52 kidnapped victims in an operation in Isa local government area of Sokoto State. The spokesperson for Operation Hadarin Daji, Captain Yahya Ibrahim, in a statement issued on Saturday in Gusau, said the rescue followed the troops' continued onslaught against terrorists through series of clearance operations. He said troops cleared and destroyed terrorist enclaves in Sarua, Kubuta, Gundumi villages and Bunwanga, Gundumi forest in the Isa local government area of the state. During the operations, the troops of the Operation Hadarin Daji rescued 52 kidnapped victims, while some terrorists were reportedly neutralized. The rescued victims include 14 males, 32 females, and 6 children, who will undergo medical checkup and debriefing before being reunited with their families. Also, Captain Yahya Ibrahim mentioned the rescued victim. How are these victims being cared for and what moving forward there, the second-class chief of Kwaji in Yoro local government area of Taraba State, Umaru Abubakar Nyala, who was abducted last week, has regained his freedom. But his pregnant wife, son, the chief imam, and 2 pastors abducted at the same time with the monarch are still in captivity. Similarly, 16 others, including a policeman and a palace guard, are also in the hand of the kidnappers. It was gathered that the monarch was released by the kidnappers at about 12:30 a.m. on Saturday. The bandits in their numbers had invaded part of Yoro local government area, terrorizing residents. Within the last few weeks, it was learnt that over 40 people were abducted in the area. Also, a judge at Oron High Court, Akwa Ibom State, Justice Joy Uwana, and her driver, whom gunmen abducted, have regained freedom. The Information Commissioner in Ini, Obong, announced the development in a statement on Saturday. The judge was said to have been kidnapped alongside her driver on her way back from a court sitting. Governor Umo Eno has vowed that the masterminds of the abduction of Justice Joy Uwana and her driver will face the law. Different branches of the Nigerian Bar Association, including the Oron branch, where Justice Uwana serves as a judge, protested the incident and shut down court proceedings. The governor reassured Akwa Ibom residents of the government's commitment to bringing the perpetrators to book. Obong said Uwana appreciated the governor for his concern and efforts in rescuing her and her driver from the abductors. She recounted her ordeal in the kidnappers' den, praying that no one should face such a terrible experience. Also, gunmen suspected to be assassins have killed a medical expert identified as David Adefikayo in Kwara State. The deceased, who was the medical director at Dafikayo Clinic in Kambi in the Moro local government area of Kwara State, was killed in his residence in the same community. The attackers, whose motives remained unknown, reportedly broke into the deceased residence around 8:30 p.m. on Thursday and shot the medical officer in the presence of his wife and children. The hoodlums abducted one of the daughters of the slain doctor, Christiana Adijoke Alabi, 23, who was learned to have regained her freedom on Friday. The spokesperson of the State Police Command, Ejire Adeyemi Adetong, said the DPO and other officers have stormed the bush in search of the criminals. And in just the Plateau State capital, dry season farmers are expressing concerns over the continuous rise in the price of petrol, which is negatively impacting their livelihood. Before the fuel price increase, the farmers invest significantly in building canals for crops like tomatoes, carrots, lettuce, cabbage, cucumbers, onions and others destined for both domestic and international market. Trust TV's Ado Musa has more on the report.
President Bola Tinubu's recent removal of the fuel subsidy continues to cause ripples across sectors, with persistent hikes in the prices of goods and services, leaving many Nigerians feeling disillusioned. Dry season farmers in Plateau State, reliant on fuel for their generators to pump water, are voicing their concerns about the economic threat to their livelihood. Honestly, the hike in price of the fuel is really a source of concern. There are many farmers around this place that have already abandoned their farms because they can't afford to cultivate them. With the current price of fuel, I am just imagining how a farmer will make profit from the dry season farming due to increased expenditure. We are discouraged. We, the dry season farmers, are really in trouble. We don't know which problem to address first. We have been battling with the high cost of fertilizer. Now, with the hike in the price of fuel, where are we headed? Due to the increased fuel price, I had to give away one of my farms to another farmer because I couldn't afford it anymore. The farmers insist that for dry season farming to continue, government intervention is crucial. The government needs to encourage us by reducing the price of the fuel because the situation may push us to abandon the farms. It is through farming that food becomes available in the land. We urge the government to address the challenges faced by farmers. Dry season farming is very expensive, especially considering the need to purchase fuel for irrigation. We appeal to the government to consider our plight and help us. Plateau State, known for its vegetable production and job opportunities during dry season farming, faces threat due to the current fuel and input price hikes. With Nigerians' current concerns around food security, a speedy intervention to guarantee domestic food production has become imperative. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Also, farmers in Benue State have called for more investment in the sector to ensure better yield in 2024 farming season. While speaking to Jimmy Adzande in Makurdi, they said such investments will scale up improved agricultural practices in Nigeria. Here's the report.
Because as we know, government has control over land, government has control over her budget, so the money she gets, she can use part of this money to help farmers solve some of these problems. So government can help, and government was helping. It's the last administration that, I don't know how to put it, the government now decided to shy away from helping farmers. So farmers now shoulder everything.
Apart from issues raised by the Benue farmer and retired director in the State Ministry of Agric, other Benue farmers call for the repair of roads leading to the farm due to their deplorable state.
We don't get roads. The road where I'm talking about, the one way we are managing, those people they come here to manage us, but they don't scatter it. No bridge, no anything. The bridge where we are gathering, we use wood gather it, they can't scatter the bridge.
They are also asking the government to provide transportation palliative to the rural farmers so they can convey their goods to the markets, adding that with the current transport hike, the value of the farm produce has reduced drastically.
Because predominantly these farms are located in local areas with their characteristic bad or poor road network. So transportation is the central problem. They expect that the government will move into construction of roads, and if possible, like the state government has just intervene in the area of transportation so that they can freely and at low cost transport their produce to the markets.
With Governor Hyacinth Alia having promised to return the state to her good old days through agriculture, the farmers are of the view that planning ahead of time will produce effective results. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Also ahead of the Christmas celebrations, Christian faithful in Kano State are lamenting the high cost of foodstuffs and transport fares. Well, Salim Ibrahim reports that less than 48 hours to the celebration, many are still uncertain about how they will celebrate considering the escalating prices of foodstuff and other essential commodities. Here's his report.
These set of citizens are now living in a state of uncertainty as to how the 2023 festive season will be celebrated considering the escalating prices of foodstuffs and other necessary materials for the celebration, while some of them who are used to traveling back to their home states will this time around only dream. According to them, the prices of foodstuffs continue to escalate unabated on a daily basis, saying that it is currently posing a challenge on their Christmas shopping. In a visit to Nkura market, known for all kinds of foodstuff and perishable items, and mostly patronized by these individuals, residents are expressing concern and mixed feelings.
In fact, I cannot explain the level things are expensive in the market. I cannot explain. Every day by day, things are increasing. I cannot explain. I'm here to my place now. If you cannot count up to 50,000 to and fro, you cannot. Something you can use 6,000, 10,000, 12,000 to and fro. But now, almost 15,000 for only just going, and you have not taken you to your destination yet. So I'm not dreaming of going home this year. Although I've traveled home this year, but as of this Christmas celebration, I cannot go because of the increment of transport fare.
Don't buy anything for the Christmas because there's no money. The one I've already saved, travel, I'm not going anywhere. The one I've already saved, I've already finished it for food stuff. So we are in Kano, we are not going anywhere.
Kano Luxury Park is known for transporting individuals and goods to the southern and eastern parts of the country. It was observed that the park is held in its own shadows as activities were short of regular. It was gathered that the number of vehicles leaving on a daily basis are shrinking with less passengers traveling, while others have resorted to sending the little they have through waybill for family members.
What is going on now? Many people are not traveling again because of diesel is cost. Then the price of motor is very cost. So all of them, many of them, they will just buy the goods and send their family. Then some people, they are going to enter small car, home about some, they go to enter trailer. They are going to their village. So now we cannot see many people like before. Before, by this time around now, like 6 to 7 motor is moving, but now often only 2 motor come out.
I might not be like last year because passenger not be like before. Things change. Money the people hand to traveling. That is why some people they don't want to traveling now.
It was also observed that business activities were moving with the lowest ebbs as the traders were lamenting no patronage from the buyers. They are expressing dissatisfaction over the economic situation in the country, blaming the economic hardship for the current situation citizens are witnessing. Salim Umar Ibrahim, reporting for Trust TV.
A cross-section of passengers in Bauchi State have identified poor implementation of policies as one of the major causes of the present increase in the cost of living. They were reacting to the shortcomings in the implementation of the 50% Yuletide travel waiver. Two transport unions confirmed had noticeable lapses that made it difficult for Nigerians to enjoy. Adamu Imam observed the situation at the Mobile Roundabout Motor Park and now reports.
Some of the passengers attributed the current high cost of living to improper implementation of government policies, as well as insincerity on the part of some leaders.
Bad leadership, of course, is bad leadership, 100%. If our leader are not backed, like our Senate, House of Reps, House of Google, you understand, we vote for them. You understand? If the fuel is going to buy, let's say, a liter, maybe 2,000 or 3,000, they don't care because they have already. You understand? The one they hide, they have already. So what is the problem?
Transportation and so many other things. It has really become a challenge. You can't even, within the states, you can't even climb and bike from here to here. They'll charge you high fee. You might even spend 1,000 naira. It has become a challenge. I'm not impressed. I need the government to do something about it.
The cause of this hike in transportation, one is inflation. The inflation in this country is very high. And secondly, apart from the inflation, there are other people who use the Yuletide season to make money. You know, unnecessarily they just increase the prices of items in the market. You understand? So that alone is one thing that is causing all this hardship that we are passing through in this country.
Transport unions also expressed concern over the slash of 50% transport fare by the federal government, saying the issue seemed like a public relations stunt, such most states do not have access to the companies approved for the waiver.
If the federal government wanted to do something about it, let them tell us that tomorrow the fuel comes 200 or 300. Before 30 minutes, we are going to lose all the money of the transportation. It's not even in Bosnia, Nigeria as a whole. But now we are buying fuel 700 naira, 680, 690. How can we reduce 50%?
Some drivers who share their thought on the low patronage of passengers said the situation was not encouraging for their business at this period of fuel subsidy removal.
There is a lot of Sharon, at least 50. They are going to Abuja from Bauchi. They are taking a lot of people. They are taking to the Abuja. But right now, at least actually what's happening now, we are not taking 5 Sharon a day. So this thing actually has been affecting us. That fuel subsidy is
They urge the federal government to always employ the services of those who are key players in any area they intend to execute a policy to ensure that it reaches the target population. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
As the economic hardship in the country persists, pensioners in Osun State are groaning over the high cost of living as they prepare for the Christmas and New Year celebrations. According to them, inflation in the country has significantly reduced their purchasing power as they patronize the same markets with those that are still working. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbati has more.
Christmas and New Year celebrations are special occasions where Christians enjoy delicious meals with their families and friends as they mark the birth of Jesus Christ. However, the current economic hardship in Nigeria has made it difficult for many to celebrate Christmas and New Year like before.
It was too tough. The high cost of living in this country presently, for almost, let's say, like 6-7 months ago, it was tough, very, very tough.
The issue of economic crisis is global, and Osun State will not be an exception. So we have to be managing with what we have, because as those who are serving are complaining, we retirees also are complaining.
The market price nowadays is getting up on daily basis, increasing on daily basis. And there is nothing we can do other than to accept whatever we are given for the meantime. Because the inflationary cost nowadays is very high. And it affects all cadres, whether pensioner or the workforce.
Definitely, pensioners will be in a joyous mood with the development, because I learned Mr. Governor to release pensions for the month of December.
The pensioners appealed to President Bola Tinubu to address the economic hardship in the country to make life a bit more bearable for them and Nigerians as a whole. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Oshogbo.
In recent times, onions have attained a special culinary status, not due to utility, but because of the exorbitant price it costs in the market. Now, within the bustling metropolis of Lagos State, residents are grappling with the steep rise in the cost of this essential commodity. Victoria Tokolo conducted a market survey within one of the most densely populated markets in Mile 12, engaging with onion sellers to unravel the factors driving this unprecedented spike. Her report is presented from our studio.
Onions, the once indispensable kitchen staple, has become a commodity witnessing a remarkable surge in prices. In Lagos State, citizens are grappling with the financial constraint imposed by this escalating cost, making even the smallest size a challenge to afford. At Mile 12 Market, where onions are seen available, traders say the pricing is far from stable. Currently, only two states, Sokoto and Kebbi, are the primary suppliers of onions across the country. The traders emphasize that due to the non-negotiable nature of the prices set at the farms, the market prices fluctuate on a regular basis. Last month, the cost per bag stood at between 140 to 135,000 naira. Though there has been a slight dip, stability remains elusive. Speaking with Trust TV at Mile 12 Market, onion traders shed light on the various factors contributing to the fluctuation in prices.
The time where the people where they carry them from north, you don't know how you buy them from. But where you sell now, here are the thing where sell 95, 80, 85.
Last month we sold 130,000, but 3 weeks later it come down to 85. But now when we go back to farm, things has increased. Now you go back to 120 now. We have 120, we have 100,000 as at now. The price is not stable, it's varies.
150,000. Why we are selling the purple onions 130, 120.
Some residents of Lagos expressed their frustration at the situation, which will negatively affect their shopping choices. Their anguish stems from the integral role onions play in cooking arrangements. The escalating prices of onions have prompted Nigerians to appeal for an intervention from the government.
We are not be able to buy onions. You know, onions, there is something you will eat that you will not put onions. So, onions, one size is 100 naira each. So, we are unable to afford it. And we want government to do something.
The butter don't cost, make it release. Rice don't cost, everything costs. Everything costs, make it release. Gàrí wọn. Can't jẹ́ kí gbogbo ẹ̀ kó wálẹ̀. Kọ́ bá wálẹ̀ sí ẹ̀.
Onions, hey, onions. If you want to buy 15 naira onions, tá bá fẹ́ ra onions 15 naira. Kékeré báyìí ni. Kí ló dé? Èèyàn lè ṣe concoction, but person no fit cook concoction, and we cannot cook without that onions. We must put onions. A gbọ́dọ̀ fi àlùbọ́sà sí any oúnjẹ tá bá fẹ́ ṣe, no matter how small, no matter how little. Bó ṣe kéré tó náà, a máa lo onions.
Àlùbọ́sà is too cost. Yeah. If I want cook rice or jollof everything, I go look at àlùbọ́sà to serve. Now, only on 50 naira in motor, 100 naira, 200, 3, 4. I take God beg you. Make the rest yeah, small one. Yeah, now everything is too cost. Not only àlùbọ́sà is cost.
Recognizing the indispensable role onions play in enhancing the flavor of meals, residents are urging authorities to take measures to alleviate the financial strain caused by the soaring onion prices.
A former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has been released from the Kuje Correctional Center after his lawyers perfected his bail conditions. His lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Matthew Burka, confirmed this on Saturday. Justice Hamza Mwazu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court had granted him bail in sum of 300 million naira with two shorties in like sum. Emefiele was arraigned on a 6-count charge bordering on procurement fraud and using his position to confer a corrupt advantage on Saadatu Yaro, a staff of CBN, by awarding a contract for the procurement of 43 vehicles worth 1.2 billion naira between 2018 and 2020 on November 18th. While he was remanded in Kuje, Emefiele was mandated to deposit all his travel documents with the registrar of the court and must remain within the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC. The trial over his alleged procurement of vehicles has already begun before Justice Hamza Mwazu. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu's investigator probing the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Jim Obaze, has revealed that the government is on the verge of recovering two banks illegally sold to former governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele. According to the report, Emefiele used proxies to acquire Union Bank of Nigeria for Titan Trust Bank Limited and Keystone Bank without any evidence of payment. Accordingly, Obaze submitted the report of his investigations into acquiring Union Bank and Keystone Bank to President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday in two separate letters dated December 20th, 2023. This is coming on the heels of findings by the investigator that Emefiele illegally lodged billions of naira in public funds in no fewer than 593 bank accounts in the United States, United Kingdom, and China without approval of the Apex Bank's Board of Directors and the CBN Investment Committee. Similarly, Emefiele was indicted for 22.7 trillion naira ways and means advance to the federal government without approval from former President Muhammadu Buhari. The revelations were contained in the interim report submitted by Obaze to President Tinubu on December 9th, 2023. This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Maiduguri residents lament as blackout hits metropolis. This and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Now a recap of our major stories. Troops rescue 52 kidnapped victims in Sokoto. And cost of living crisis affects Christmas festivities. Moving on to more stories now. Despite the rise in digital migration in the business world, shopping plazas are still springing up in Cano, giving the impression that traders there are yet to embrace online transaction. Salim Ibrahim reports that while construction and rehabilitation of plazas continue, the emergence of mobile delivery is, however, changing the business landscape of the Asian city. Here's his report.
The face of almost all major streets in Kano nowadays are changing for the better, as new plazas are being erected and old ones being demolished to pave way for the construction of new ones or undergo serious rehabilitation. This is as the digital era has come with dynamic changes aiding business activities in this 21st century. It is observed that one who is out of Kano for at least a year may get lost major and popular streets like Zoo Road, Zaria Road, Maiduguri Road, Tarauni, BUK Road and their environs because of the changes in buildings around these places. This is aside the booming market areas which are practically populated with buildings or plazas, identified as Gida, meaning houses in the local dialect. These buildings are plazas housing no fewer than 100 shops each. The coming up of plazas, which are known to be at strategic places within the metropolis, is now springing up even outside, as they are now the face of almost every street. It was gathered that an average plaza under construction in Kano is now being taken by people even before it is ready because of the high demand. However, a look at some of the popular plazas shows that on average, business owners rent a shop just for the purpose of keeping a business address and identity, but not for the day and day use. These businesses or businessmen and women could only be seen on once in a while coming to their shops when they have a meeting or the likes, while some of them keep secretaries to keep the place alive. The question is, how is business being done in these places? Speaking on the trend, a young business owner who sells caps, textile materials, designer shoes and perfumes said his shop serves as just a store, while 80% of his customers are coming online.
As businesses are growing, ours also grows because most of them need us to function properly. Although businesses are selling online now, they however need us to deliver their goods to their customers. I started with just 2 motorcycles, but now I have 4, and they are always busy going from one place to another. Due to the high demand, sometimes one has to collect as much as possible within an area to deliver. It's really thriving.
Our own business is about food and snacks that people order on special occasions, or from the comfort of their offices, or even for their children in school. We have thousands of followers, and we also take advantage of prospective clients who order what we produce on a daily basis. While some come here to get theirs, most of them get it through delivery services. Honestly, all our customers are online.
However, the proliferation of these plazas in Cano have given birth and more life to business of home delivery, as the business also thrives along. It is observed that the business of delivery service is now an independent business on its own, as the demand for the service continues to grow. However, the development, it was gathered that some business owners now have their own system of delivery as they purchase their vehicles for delivery and employees to ride or drive. Salim Umar Ibrahim reporting.
And the Borno State Governor, Babagana Zulum, has distributed 100 million naira cash to over 10,000 households of Ran community in Kala Balge local government area of the state. The governor also supported troops stationed at the community with Christmas gifts. Trust TV's Beatrice Kuruti has more on this and other intervention projects the governor flagged off during his trip to Borno Central. The report.
The distribution exercise, according to the governor, is to support residents who lost their means of livelihood as a result of perennial floods from Cameroon's Lagdo Dam, which destroyed farmlands and houses in Ran. More than 10,000 families received 10,000 naira each. The governor, who also came with gifts for the battalion stationed in Kalabalgi, expressed gratitude to the Nigerian army for their sacrifices and resilience in maintaining peace in Borno State.
In the recent days, I've never been overtaken by Boko Haram insurgents. This is not unconnected to your resilience, and above all, the resilience of your officers.
Meanwhile, the governor was also in Mafa local government, where he flagged off his administration's irrigation project in 7 pilot communities. The aim is to key into the national food security initiatives of President Tinubu. The 7 irrigation schemes, which will be sited in communities of Ukawa, Ngala, Mobar, Dadinkowa in Bayo, and Mafa local government, according to the governor, is in line with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to ensure food security in Nigeria.
2 months, I don't want to see water vendors moving around the town. And then I don't want to see people fetching water beneath the boreholes.
During the visit, the governor also inspected water projects and ordered reticulation to address water shortage in Mafa local government. Beatrice Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Also, residents of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, have expressed dissatisfaction with the recent power blackouts in the city following the bombing of an electricity mast along the Damaturu-Maiduguri road. This is the 3rd time the city will be experiencing power outage due to similar incidents. Beatrice Kuriti has more.
It's 2 days now and Maiduguri metropolis has been without electricity until the news went viral that power towers were attacked at Katsiata village in Yobe state by suspected Boko Haram terrorists. The disconnection from the national grid is affecting the livelihood of residents in Maiduguri who fear that they may celebrate the festive period in total blackout.
Yanzu sai dai mu aiki da jan din ma yanzu sai mun yi service nashi saboda an kwana biyu ba yi ba da charcoal iron.
Now I have to rely on generator, and the generator I haven't used it for months, and fuel is very expensive. But with electricity we pump water. We don't buy water from vendors because a truck costs 500 naira.
Ni kaina ya shafe ni, ba zai magana a sai personal ni kaina ba, idan ne magana personal ni kaina na nuna interest na ya shafe kowa da kowa.
I will be selfish to say this total blackout is affecting only me, and honestly it's affecting all Maiduguri residents because I'm into furniture making business. It will affect my customers' work. We can't charge our phones and other devices.
That this administration embarked upon to improve national power supply and stimulate economic growth, following my directive to ensure immediate restoration of reliable power supply to Maiduguri within the shortest possible time.
In March this year, former President Buhari commissioned the Maiduguri Emergency Power Project as an alternative source of power. Some residents are not sure if it's functional, but they say it would help at this critical time, bearing in mind the price of fuel, especially for generator users.
An yi lancin ta amma har yanzu ba mu gani ba, bai soma aiki ba, to muna sa rai ko za samu a kammala wannan aiki na gas power plant.
We only heard that it was launched. We don't know if it's working, but we want the gas power plant to be functional so that we don't have to rely on the national grid for electricity. We haven't seen it working yet, but I'm begging the government to make it work so we can have light.
A similar incident of the power tower attack that happened 2 years ago plunged the city into darkness for over a year. With another attack this festive period, most Maiduguri residents are hoping that it doesn't take long for power to be restored in the city. I'm Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Residents of Taraba State, students and parents have lauded the state governor for fulfilling his promise of effecting a 50% downward review of the tuition fees for students of the Taraba State University, as well as the implementation of free basic education in the state. Reacting the implementation of the policy, some students and parents said the decision to reduce this has also reduced the financial burden, as they would also no longer work as hard as they would ordinarily do to raise the fees for the children and wards. The report.
On the streets of Jalingo, the state capital, residents have been expressing delight with the 50% reduction for students of the Taraba State University, as well as the free education policy initiated by His Excellency. While describing the move as a great relief to many parents in the state, they added that schools enrollment have now increased, while crimes and criminality would be drastically reduced as more people will be drafted into schools instead of roaming the streets and fomenting trouble.
As a parent, it has impacted greatly on us. Impacted in a sense that it has given relief to many parents who cannot afford to send their children to school. If the governor will continue this, Taraba State will catch up with other neighboring states, because we are lagging behind in terms of education. in the northern region.
Even the reduction of the school fees does not show, because as you maybe forfeit paying school fees, other things collect the money. So that is not even showing effect on us.
The government promised that there are going to be a reduction in school fees, but up till now we are still waiting for the implementation of that policy. We are yet to see implemented. Sure.
First of all, I want to appreciate the governor by introducing free education in secondary school, primary school, and tertiary institution, whereby there's 15% reduction in every school fees in that school. But the problem we are facing is today, if you go to that school, we still look at how they rise the accommodation fees and other tuition fees. If you look at it, it affects the student as well, as I'm talking to you now. So what we are trying here is we appreciate the government for that 15%, surely. We really appreciate the government. So what we want here is for the government to look into that matter as well. We thank Governor Kefas. We thank him very well.
The Commissioner of Information in Taraba State, Osimhen Jalingo, stressed that since the implementation and declaration of the policy by the governor, residents have attested to the positive impact of the policy, especially to the parents and students.
My joy is His Excellency is up to the task. The team behind him, we are up to the task. We anticipated a lot of hooks and challenges here and there. We have some counter efforts to tackle these challenges, and we are still on it. Before we can synchronize from a basic educational system that has been running with school fees to a free educational system, is a huge, huge task. What have been started so far, the few challenges are mainly from saboteurs, which the government's searchlights and eyes are on.
She called on the people of the state to cooperate with government for the betterment of the state and the citizens.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. The news continues after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
As the 2023 financial year winds up, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation has issued a stern notice to all ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, regarding the closure of 2023 accounts and the commencement of the 2024 budget access. The notice came in an annual Federal Treasury circular dated December 19, 2023, and signed by the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madane. As the 2023 Appropriation Act implementation draws to a close, both recurrent and capital expenditures for the current year will be closed on December 31st, 2023. This indicates a crucial timeline for MDAs to complete the financial activities and comply with the OAGF's directives. The process will be swift and automatic for MDAs utilizing the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, GIF-MIS, and the Treasury Single Account, TSA. The government noted that failure to comply with these requirements will have significant consequences. The Central Bank of Nigeria has lifted the ban it imposed 2 years ago on cryptocurrency transactions in the Nigerian banking system. The CBN announced the reversal of the policy in a circular by Haruna Mustafa, its director, Financial Policy and Regulation. Mustafa said the Apex Bank would now provide regulations for financial institutions on how to manage cryptocurrency to avoid misuse. The CBN issued a circular in February 2021 restricting banks and other financial institutions from operating accounts for cryptocurrency service providers. The then CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, had announced that the restriction was necessary in view of the money laundering and terrorism financing risk posed by cryptocurrency. According to Mustafa, current global trends have shown that there is need to regulate the activities of virtual asset service providers, which include cryptocurrencies and crypto assets. He, however, warned that banks and other financial institutions were still prohibited from holding, trading, or transacting in cryptocurrencies on their own account. And finally, a total turnover of 2.474 billion shares worth 3.787 billion naira in 35,848 deals was traded this week by investors on the floor of the exchange. Financial services industry measured by volume-led activity chart. The conglomerates industry followed in second place, and in third place was the services industry. The NGX All-Share Index and market capitalization appreciated by 2.26% to close the week at 74,023.27 basis points and 40.527 trillion naira respectively. 55 equities appreciated in price during the week, with 35 equities depreciated in price, while 65 equities remained unchanged. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
And away from Nigeria, an attack by rebels in western Burundi has killed 20 people, all but one of them civilians, the government said on Saturday. The attack was claimed by the Red Tabara rebel group, which in its own statement said it had killed 10 members of the security forces. The attack occurred on Friday evening in the town of Vugizo, near the border with the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the rebels have a base. Red Tabara, Burundi's main rebel group, said in a message on X, formerly Twitter, that fighters based in Burundi attacked the Vugizo border post, claiming that 9 military and 1 policeman were killed. 2 military and security sources said the attack targeted a military position. The attack marked the second one in 2 weeks inside Burundi by the rebels, who have not been active since September 2021, when they carried out a series of attacks, including on the Bujumbura airport. Since then, the activities have been taking place in DR Congo's South Kivu province. A West African delegation led by the leaders of Senegal and Ghana were in Sierra Leone on Saturday to lay the groundwork for a security mission in the wake of an alleged coup attempt in November. On November 26, armed attackers stormed a military armory, 2 barracks, 2 prisons and 2 police stations, clashing with security forces. 21 people were killed and hundreds of prisoners escaped before authorities were able to regain control after what they deemed a coup attempt by members of the armed forces. The violence sparked fears of another coup in West Africa, where Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger and Guinea have all experienced overthrows since 2020. Senegal's President Macky Sall and Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo are both in Freetown to discuss the security situation with Sierra Leone President Julius Maada Bio, the offices said. Sierra Leone authorities on Wednesday lifted the curfew that was imposed in the wake of the November 26th clash. Let's now join Adeniyi Ajishafe for Sports News.
Wiki Tourist Football Club of Bauchi defeated Nasarawa United 2-1 in the Nigerian National League Match Day 6 at Tafawa Balewa Stadium, Bauchi. 10 minutes into the game, Olabiaremu converted a spot kick when he was brought down in the box by Nasarawa United defense, putting the Tourists on driver's seat. Pressure mounted on Nasarawa United till the dying minutes of the first half. Solid Miners goalie failed to grab Mohamed Guda's powerful strike, while Olabiaremu in a pressing effort scored the second goal, ending the first half 2-0 in favor of the Tories. Nasarawa United became aggressive in the second half, and their effort paid in the 72nd minute when Chinedu Hanachom sneaked behind Wiki Tories defense to head home a free kick as a consolation to Solid Miners. Wiki Tories technical advisor Aziz Mohammed said the team worked hard to achieve the win.
I'm not surprised because we've been working very hard towards this game. And you can see the way the boys play. Only a small loss of concentration before we are able to concede the one goal, which is normal in football. But it feels very good for me and the team.
Nasarawa United technical advisor Usman Adamu noted some challenges in defense that prompted him to make tactical changes, which worked well in the second half for them to get a goal.
I'm sure we didn't do well. I'm sure we didn't do well. There are some challenges there in the defense. The first goal, the second goal. That was why I think from my changes, you can see there were some elements of pushing more than the first half. So it's me that knew what happened.
So what is your plan ahead?
It's to come back if we don't know what NNL will play. However, I don't want us to be first, second. So next, with the win, I think they are not ahead of us.
Wiki Tourist next match will be against NAFS FC on 6 January 2024 in Abuja. Nasarawa United remain top of Group C standing despite going down against Wiki Tourist, who played their match day 5 on day 6 in Bauchi. That's sport news. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
Still in sport, Nigerian striker and reigning African Footballer of the Year Victor Osimhen has renewed his contract with Napoli, which will now see him remain at the club until 2026. The Italian champions announced the contract extension of the African Footballer of the Year in a post on its official X handle on Saturday. Napoli have not revealed any details of the contract. However, Italian media reports that a release clause worth between 120 and 130 million euros has been inserted to ensure the club does not lose their star player to Premier League suitors without cashing in. Osimhen's previous deal would have expired in June 2025, and his renewal has been a major subject of discussion in Italy since Napoli won their first league title in over 3 decades last season. He scored 26 league goals as under departed coach Luciano Spalletti, Napoli captivated Europe with thrilling football and were crowned champions for the first time since Diego Maradona was with the club. In total, Osimhen has scored 67 times in 118 appearances since signing from Leone in 2020. Napoli are, however, 14 points behind Serie A leaders Inter ahead of their clash at rivals Roma on Sunday night and were dumped out of the Italian Cup by Frosinone. Also, veteran Nollywood actor Deimon Lewis has died at the age of 80. His passing was confirmed by a fellow actor, Saidi Balogun, in a post on his Instagram account on Saturday. Balogun, who shared a photo of the veteran actor, wrote, "Good night, Deimon Lewis. May your soul rest in perfect peace. R.I.P." Though no details were given by Balogun on the cause of Lewis' death, his post attracted a lot of tributes from fans and other former colleagues of the late actor. Deimon Lewis was a Nigerian film and television actor famous for his Kabiesi role in The Village Headmaster, Nigeria's longest-running television soap opera shown on NTA from 1968 to 1988 that starred the late Justice Esiri and Femi Robinson. Born in Lagos State, Nigeria in 1943, Lewis shone in several other Nigerian soap operas and movies before his death. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Hour. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms and also catch our live stream on YouTube for more news, programs and documentaries. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. Good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.